Well, I'm back here on the pop-up camper a little bit. I used this pop-up for a long time, and I find that after taking the van out a few times, I love that van, but I can't take it everywhere I want to go. Those Forest Service roads and anywhere there's a dip or a bump, it's not a four-wheel drive, and I put that air dam on it, and it's low to the ground. I just can't go all the places I'd like to go in it without doing some alterations to it, like taking the air dam off and raising the front end up a little bit and putting some bigger tires on it instead of them TA radials. So I'm going to get my camper going here again. I'm going to fix it up a little bit like I've been doing. I've been remodeling this camper a little bit, so I'm going to get on it a little bit so I can take this on different kinds of road trips than the van goes on. The van's strictly a road vehicle, and I want to do other things. So first step, I'm going to make this little bracket right here that goes with this this wall that I put in, this new folding wall. So get busy on that. First step is to hold this damn wall up, hold this ceiling up overhead while I take that bracket down. Or just, this is what holds it up, this little bracket right here. So I'm going to make a brand new one that's much more solid than this one. Look at this, I can take this one out by hand. We're actually pretty lucky it's lasted this long. I'm just going to trash that. I'm going to make a nice block of wood that this thing goes up and clips into, and you clip it out of. I got this nice piece of Bubinga. That's called Bubinga. It's left over from a little floor inlay I made, well over 20 years ago, but I keep all that little stuff. I got a little pile of all kinds of exotics over here. I'll put that back in a pile and grab another piece another day. So this is gonna be my little bracket right here. Well, this here is what I kind of come up with. And I'm going to attach it to the roof. Kind of like that. I don't know if you can see that very well. But that's going to attach to the roof like that. So I drilled and countersunk some holes in there. And I found some 2-inch stainless steel flatheads. And I have a full 1.5 inches up there, so that's going to bite so good. These things aren't going anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere now. So I'm going to go ahead and put some finish on this. Always love doing this. Let's watch that Bubinga come to life. I'm just going to use some of this Daly's Benite. Oh, look at that. Nothing like a nice tung oil finish. And tung oil is so good because you can just put it on again and again and again whenever you want to without having a... So for stuff like this, I mean, look at that. That little piece of wood there turned into a little piece of artwork. And it's not just artwork, but it's artwork with function. Kind of like boat building stuff. Most things you build on a boat, they're beautiful and they have purpose. One screw would be more than enough. 2, maybe a little overkill, but it's gonna... Look at that. There you go. Well, let's just see how it works. Yeah, I got a little... Oh, yeah. See, I got a little more spring action. I got quite a bit of spring action going on there. Because I want it to hold it nice and taut. You just pop it down like that. There we go. There it is. See, now it holds it nice and straight. It's nice and sturdy. It looks good. Yeah. Looks a lot better. It's not going anywhere with that little notch in there. I mean, we'd have to have an earthquake or some major disaster for that to pop out of there. Way better than the original thing. But this little bracket they made, like I said, it's not beautiful, but it's very functional. It's got a lot of strength to it, and it holds that wall really good shape. Okay, so you can see on what I did here is I rebuilt that forward bulkhead or part of that cabinet there. So let's just show you what I got going here. So I took out some of the framework. So it had a funny frame that went down inside here that held these cushions up. I'm just going to do a nice cleat right along that forward wall there, forward bulkhead. So I raised these up 2 inches. I built this bulkhead here 2 inches taller than it was. So now when the cushions go on it, it brings it up flush with this surface here. And then this cabinet here will come in and butt into that, which, there. And then you will have a full bed that sits on top of that like that. You'll have storage down in here. These tops, these will lift out right here, so you'll be able to access those cabinets from the top or from the sides. You can get in the sides without having to take the bed completely apart. So this is the upper cabinet here. See, it's going to go in like that. I want to make some door and drawer fronts for it. Okay, here we are back. We got these cabinets all fit. This is as far as I'm going on this thing this time. You know, this is going to be a nice upgrade. It's not a total remodel of the inside of the four-wheel pop-up, but so here's the upper cabinet, and there's the lower cabinet that raises that up and makes a berth out of it instead of a little useless little bench. So I'm going to go ahead and put some finish on these, go get lunch, come back and put another coat on them, and then I'll make all the door and drawer fronts. Same finish I used on all the... First coat, sealer. I'll go get lunch, come back and put another coat on these. Okay, so we're doing the last and final coat on these. I got 2 coats on that. This one here just got its 3rd coat, sitting there gonna dry in, and tomorrow I can install them all. Okay, so we're doing the hinges and handles now on the door and drawer fronts for this little pop-up camper. So here's my little system that I do. Do one real quick here. Get those open. I got my hinges. I dump out my screws. Throw that in the garbage. So you lay that out. These are usually 1.5 inches. You mark the side of it. Move it over to your line. draw your little circles so you get a nice center on your screws. Lay it down, make a little mark, draw your 3 little circles. All right, take your pilot bit and put it right in the center of that hole. Just give it about 1/4 of an inch depth, just to get your screw started nice and straight. Alright, so these come with 2 different sizes. There's 6 of them that are short, 1/2 inch, that are for the cabinet door faces. And then the other 4 are for where you screw the hinge to the cabinet itself. One thing I could use here would be a magnetic tip on my screw gun. You know, I have one, I just haven't gone looking for it yet. But it works pretty good to just stick them on if they're magnetically. For the poles, what I'm using is these came out of a house that I worked on a few years ago. The house was built in 1943, and these were the original, some of the original hardware that came out of that house. So I'm using these little poles on my cabinets. I cleaned them up, washed them up with a steel wool, cleaned all the goo and crap off. So I think they're going to work just fine for this, and I'm going to repurpose them, give them a new life, and I know where they came from. So on these, we're just basically going to go center. Got 27 inches, that's 13 and a half. I got 13 and a half, and I'm coming down 1.5 inches. And that's what I'm going to do on all these. I'm just going to go center and 1.5 inches down. So then I'll drill that. You know, this has got to be almost 10 years ago I worked on this house, but I have a hard time throwing things away, so I rat hole this crap, and well, I'm going to use them. So I'm not sure if the threads on these are going to work. I may have to cut these screws down. Nope, looks like it tightens right up. That's it. And there you have it. That's ready for install in the cabinets. Okay, I'm going to do all these. All right, I'm going to mount these doors to this little upper cabinet that I built here. I'll make sure I got my grain matched up. That is not matched up. There it is. Yeah, I got my grain matched. It all came out of one piece of flooring. This is all just old used flooring. Matter of fact, I built this whole thing out of a bunch of leftover stuff. I really didn't buy anything except for the hinges. Is the only thing I went and bought for this. Everything else is left over from another job. And there's that cabinet, ready to hang up in the van or in the camper. There you can see. Then I'll fit a piece of carpet down inside there, because I like carpet in them. All right, that one's ready to go in. Okay, here we are. Today we are in the camper, and we are going to install these cabinets that we built and do this little, we're going to do this little upgrade that we've been working on. So I think I filmed yesterday. This one went in, all screwed in. Still got to put my carpet in the bottom. That's in. And this little cabinet on the bottom here is laying in place. And we are going to fasten it in. Just putting those little metal angle brackets back in. You see I have a little compartment right there. That's going to be like a little secret compartment. I probably, looks like it's perfect for a certain item that you might be able to build a secret little compartment in there. and yeah, make it easily accessible but hidden. Anyway, that's probably what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this. All right, so let's see if this thing works. The whole reason for doing this little thing was to get this all up to one level so I can make that a permanent bed bench instead of a convertible thing the way 4-Wheel did. I mean, 4-Wheel built some cool stuff, but this design just didn't work for me. It was kind of cute, but it really wasn't very functional the way I use it. So you saw all that. You saw the framework I built in there. So this is a little hatch. Of course, I utilized an old piece of siding I had laying around here. You know, I always try to use old junk, just a piece of 3/8, trying to keep the weight down. And I was going to cut this and make 2 hatches out of it, but you know, it's easy enough to move it around as one big hatch. So that is going to pop in place. Boom, just like that. If you notice, I put a cleat on the bottom of it. A cleat. Right there's a little cleat that I put on there, which fits right behind that cleat and in between the fore and aft little bulkheads there, which kind of locks it in place. So that's it, and it won't go anywhere. And that brings me up to height, which brings me to the next reason why we did this whole thing. Is I'll throw the cushions in here and see how this all works. So I raised that one up now so that when you put these cushions in, they slide right into their little place like that and they lock in. So those are in. Now you can see how that is nice and flush there now too. So it's all nice and flush on one level. I know those cushions are lower, but this is pretty much used as a seat over here. And then this cushion now can plop down here and become the single bed. There it is. So now it has 2 permanent sleeping quarters. So this little section right here, I may get another piece of foam and fit it in here so it's actually just a long couch all the way down. I really don't need it because that's plenty long for sleeping right there. It's over 6 feet. Then if you really wanted to, if the cooler's not sitting there, you can actually get another piece of foam and fit it in this whole area, because when my kids were little, you know, the way it used to be, and it will still work the same way, one kid's head goes there and their feet goes over there. The other kid's head goes down here and his feet goes there. And you got 2 full beds down here. And you can still, the way I designed this, you can still put this section back up here that flips down and makes a big queen size double berth up above, or it folds down. You know, it may hit this now. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but it'll still fold down. And you can use it like that. But this is the way I'm going to use it for now. So this basically becomes a bed. And this over here becomes a seat. All right, so this is pretty much the kitchen side all done now. Of course, you can see that that whole section there is the original 4-wheel pop-up camper. Except for the vent, I put that in many years ago. So down here I took those sliders out with those cheap plastic things, and now it just has a flip down door into that cavity, into that cabinet. And I may have to put a catch on that. We'll see if that holds, but I think that'll be good. Then over here where the refrigerator was, I have my cabinet doors up there with my old handles that I took out of that 1943 house. So, and that there is just storage for clothes and miscellaneous whatever you want to put in there. Really, the pots and pans, pretty much all I need goes in that spot, that little slider underneath the stove there. And I'm going to find a Tupperware that fits right in there. So, and that's the old hardware too. That's the original hardware. You know, this into this access down here. That excess over there is the same as it was, except for I did take the center 4.5 brace out, and I put a cleat along the back so that now you can lift these cushions up and your little porta potty sits down underneath there, which I don't have quite done yet. So yeah, and this folds down and this makes the one big bed. All right, so this is going to conclude this little portion of the pop-up camper remodel that I've been doing. You know, I got my bulkhead in over there, I got my full bed in down here, some cabinets built in the kitchen, and the setup down below here where I sit and eat, and you got a little porta potty set up, way more storage underneath, more access, and actually it looks a lot better. You know, I still have a lot more things I'm going to do to this as time goes on, but it's very functional now and I can start actually using it. So that's what I'd like to do as soon as I get caught up on some of the other work I have going on out there. So we're going to conclude this video right now. If you see anything you like, please hit that subscribe button. I'm almost at 20 subscribers. I know that's kind of a joke, man. This is more or less something keeping me busy, giving me something to do. But if you do see anything you like, or be sure and hit that subscribe button, and I could sure use the support. Remember, it's all about the journey. See you in the next one. Thanks.